Okay.
Cool. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Just getting used to having a little bit of fun. I can see that we're on board. All right. Welcome to my first class, also first streaming class. Hope everybody's ready. We're going to explore some new material. We're going to start the warm-up just with warming our shoulders up. So a very simple one that we've all done before, which is doing our shoulder circles. So starting quite small and then moving into bigger circles. And it was a little bit colder this morning, so maybe take it a little bit light. If you've done this before, you kind of know what speed or what pace you can go at. But getting as much range through your shoulders is the best thing for them, especially in the morning since we're waking up. Matt says, "Hi, Mum." Say hi to all the mums out there who are discovering the nuances and challenges of homeschooling and home teaching. Or maybe that hasn't happened yet. Reversing it now, starting wide, and then we're slowly going to work into a smaller circle. Good. And especially down at this very narrow point here, very important to get some small intention-filled circles. Cool. We're going to come back to this. We're doing 3 sets of these exercises, so just remember. Next one we're going to do is have our palms facing the front at all time, starting with my pinkies touching at the bottom, index fingers touching on the top. My hands are in front of my body the whole time. Up, down, up, down. Good. Should be trying to press your shoulders up to your earlobes in this position. Class, full body. I like that. Looks good. So in front of my body, my shoulders are in protraction in this position here. Keep going. They should be starting to feel a little bit warm now, which is really good. Good. From this position, we're going to do waves, so out to the front. So I'm going to bend my knees slightly, let my arms swing, bring them out to the front. Get a little bit of a thoracic stretch in your spine here. Hopefully you guys don't mind my huffing and puffing and breathing. In quarantine, I've been a little bit lazy. All good, but just shaking loose this morning, you know? Shaking loose. That's what it's about. Finally, the last part of this little shoulder sequence warm-up, most importantly, give yourself a hug. So like this, letting my arms drop, swing out to the sides. Out to the sides like such. Cool. Ooh, there we go. See everybody on it. All right, next one we're going to do hip hinges. Have my feet out to the side. I'm going to hold my elbows, hinge at the waist, and just bounce down here for about 30 pulses. It's going to help if you breathe out during these pulses. Maybe you're going to start quite high like this, and that's totally fine. That's natural. So, and it's over those 30 pulses, trying to get lower and lower. Just getting a nice big stretch through the back of our legs and our hips. Big stretches. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Coming up. Our inchworms now. You should all be fairly familiar with this. The way I like to do inchworms is bounce 3 times to your lowest position. 1, 2, 3. Walk my hands out in front. Hold, and then press my heels and do a big Beyonce walk. All the single ladies, up to my hands. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to bounce 3 times to my lowest position. Maybe your lowest position is here for this morning. Totally fine. I'm going to do this a couple times to warm up the body. So all good. Walk your hands out in front. Key detail, press your heels to the floor. Get a nice big stretch. And then Beyonce walk. All the single ladies. All the single ladies. I should really check the Twitch feedback. How the singing's going. Are we feeling it? Sup? Morning. Good morning, everybody. It's mostly Matt talking. That sounds cool. All right. Going for 5 of these. Walking our hands out in front. Good. Din, din, din. Beyonce walk. 3. Sexy. I didn't say that. Those aren't my words. 1, 2, 3 bounces to my lowest position. Walk my hands out in front. Press my heels to the floor as I walk my feet back to my hands. I'm pushing through my shoulders in this and through my hands. Last one for our 5 reps. Bounce 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Walk our hands out in front. Good. Press my heels to the floor. Nice big stretch. Pressing through my shoulders. Getting my hands a little bit introduced to the floor at the same time. Cool. Last of our warm-up sequence, we're going to do what's called a wall Jackson squat. So finding a wall of some kind. Hopefully you've been able to find one. I'm going to go down into my squat position. Maybe your squat position is here. You can't have your heels flat at the moment. That's fine. What I want you to do is lean forward and then try to stand up with your heels touching the floor. Press, 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 press all the way up to the top. Come back to flat foot. Okay? So we're going to do this again. I go down to the bottom position and I'm leaning into the wall here. If I can do it in my flat foot position, even better. Make sure your knees don't hit the wall. Going to lean forward, extend my hips in a diagonal direction forward. Press, up, 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 full extension. Come back onto my heels. So it's a bit of a mixture of a sissy squat and a Jackson squat, but it's good for warming up our legs. Down to the bottom position. Okay, lean forward with our knees. Activate our hips first before we go up. So hips go forward, up, 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 full extension up to the top. Come back down. And I want my feet to be elevated, meaning my heels are not touching the ground at all. I'm going to do this 5 more times. Down to the bottom, lean forward, activate my hips, so push my hips forward first. Hips, 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 hips. Up to the top, down. I'm going to do this 4. Lean forward, extend my hips, up, 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 up. Down to the floor. What a sight to wake up to. Thank you. Hope that's a compliment. Down to the bottom.
Getting a bit hot. There's very seductive moves you're doing here.
Oh, very seductive moves, is it? Awesome. I got a hype man as well. This is sick. Good. Down to the bottom. Knees go forward. Extend your hips before you come up. So press your hips. Because that's what the Michael Jackson position is. Like that. So get down, extend our hips, press, 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 all the way back up.
I think we'll have to have a competition of who can come up with the sexiest warm-up moves.
Okay, well, Gary, you're in this competition too, don't forget. I'm pulling you into it.
Yeah, I've got some hip thrust moves I might have to bring out sometime.
Yeah, some nice bridging moves. We're going back to our shoulder routine. So, small circles. It may be about 30 circles in this, making bigger circles. Good. Really try to feel it in the tops of your shoulders here. So press them outwards as much as you can. Good. Big circles forward. Good. We're going to reverse. So backwards now, starting with big circles. Get all that meaty crunchiness moving around a little bit. Good, little circles coming back down. And do nice little, maybe 10 or 15 little circles in that position. Cool. We're going to, these are called Vitruvians, that's how I call them. But touch your pinkies in front of the body. And we're gonna go up to the top and back down. And my shoulders are in protraction in this position the entire time. Shoulders go up nice and tall, full extension, elevation of the shoulders. Touch my pinkies in front, touch my index fingers at the top. Up to the top. Up to the top. Touch my pinkies at the bottom, in front of the body. Index fingers up at the top, nice and high. Cool, next one we're gonna do is the waves. So it's like you're doing a Mexican wave in the crowd. Woo, the crowd's coming, woo. Get ready for it. A little bit of a thoracic extension here. Bend your knees, press up. Nice big extension through the shoulders. If any of these exercises are making you feel any stiffness, just pay attention to those areas. Make a note of that mentally. Last one, our hugs. So slight bend, opening our chest, kind of like an air fly, like if you're doing flies with dumbbells. But we're just doing this body weight, warm up our shoulders a little bit. I didn't realize, but I'm going to have to do the whole workout. As like I wrote it, and I was like, oh, wait, I got to do it too. All right, cool.
Oh, yeah, everyone doesn't realize that, yeah, they pretty much do the whole workouts.
Yeah.
Even a little bit more, because they've got to show
You're going to show it all.
other members, like, the other ways you can do things. And,
Yeah, you're going to show all the
very good workout
variations.
yourself, so I'm keeping a tally of, like, who sweats the most.
Oh, yeah? Luckily, it's a little bit cool this morning.
Who's the best? Actually, yeah, Maisie is the best at keeping sort of posture, you know.
Oh, yeah, no, Maisie doesn't sweat. Maisie doesn't sweat at all.
She did sweat, but she kept a posture. Like,
I think she only sweats when she like wearing makeup and she has to go out that night. So like she's not meant to sweat, and then she sweats and she panics.
Oh, like Murphy's Law or something.
Murphy's Law, exactly.
That gets us all.
For all those fans of Interstellar, Murph, don't leave me like this, Murph. Cool, doing our hip hinges, pulsing to the bottom. We've got our inchworm. So I usually do 3 pulses to my lowest position. So 1, 2, 3. Walk my hands out in front, pressing my hands, inchworm my way to the other side. Turning around. 1, 2, 3. Inchworm across. There we go. Beyonce walk. Stretch the back of those pins. Monday morning, so they've probably had a good working out. All of us wearing our high heels at home because we can't flex and go out and wear them at all the rooftop bars or the Avery. Sad times, I know. Two. 1, 2, 3. You can make your bounces slightly aggressive as well. It's one thing about sort of these kind of active mobility and stretching things or exercises. You can kind of use gravity to help assist you get further. So bounce, 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 get down. And what that does, it sort of puts you in the range of uncomfortability, but then you're sharply moving out of it very quickly. So you're only there for a quick second. for all those with tattoos, you'll understand what actually becoming friends with pain's like. For anyone thinking of getting tattoos, this is a good way to practice or building up a relationship with pain. Bounce 3 times, walk in your hands, press your heels to the floor, Beyonce walk. Nice little seductive booty walk to the other side. Big stretch. Cool. Back to the wall, doing our Jackson squats to warm up. So squat down, wall is in front of me. Bring my knees forward, my heels are elevated off the ground. Gonna drive my hips up and forward and then stand up. Come back onto my heels. Go down, knees come forward. It's like a sissy squat here. And then Jackson squat up. We're gonna drive our hips forward, hips up, drive all the way up to the top. Down to the bottom, knees forward, hips up. Is this available for restream, by the way, Gary?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Are you talking about like they can watch it back?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube just keeps it all. So they can watch it back later on and just, well, if they want to work out, or just watch you do sexy moves later on.
That's what we want to sort of like get into, you know?
Just put it in a loop feed of you just going up and down the pole.
That's it.
Down on the floor.
Down the pole, up and pole. Behave. We might have children watching. Keep it PG. No, it's like I might like to watch myself, you know? The whole
That's
sort of...
true.
What is the movie where he's...
What's that, the movie?
The lotion, puts the lotion on. He's like watching himself in the mirror.
Oh, right, yeah, the
Yeah.
classic.
You know what that is. All right, cool. So just checking time, we're going to move on to there for some wrist drills. Cool, wrist drills, we all know them, done them before. Introducing your hands to the floor so that they get warmed up. We'll be using them, but not too much. But it's very important that a lot of our body weight skills and techniques which have a relationship to the floor, we build up this durability in our wrists. One, as we grow older, very important to have healthy wrists, robust knees, robust hips, very important, you know. But certainly as we're doing a lot of these body weight activities, you know, with a barbell squat, the barbell can rest on our back, but certainly if we're pulling it, you know, you still need to be using your wrists. Going to do some first knuckle raises, also known as palm raises, leaning forward, coming up. Here we go. Coming up, driving through your knuckles. I want us to do about 30 of these. The more that you lean into your hands, the more you'll get out of it. Your range of motion, I've noticed for people, might be very limited. But that's where people start. You're not born with contortion. Well, correction. You maybe are quite malleable as a baby, and you can probably contort your body quite well. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as an adult. You don't just enter into flexible range. Cool. I'm going to do some fin or false grip fist grabs. So here, palms, fin push-up position on the floor, and then just returning to a fist knuckle position. Please do not put your thumb inside your hand. Very bad position. Learn how to make a fist, because it's very important that you know how to grab something properly. Your thumb goes over your first 2 fingers. So back of my hands on the floor, elbows straight, and I'm going to try and make a fist with my hands. Do this about 15 to 20 times, nice and quickly. Make it easier by leaning back. Make it harder or more difficult, more protraction through the shoulders, more pressure driving through the hands. Go. Cool. And then just a little stretch backwards like this while I go. Cool. For our broom stretch,
Very good one for our shoulders because we'll be using a little bit of the shoulder position. Get the stick, put it behind your back like this or your broom. We're going to pull it out to the side so it gets our elbow and our back nice and up, and then we go up. And then it's like you're trying to pull a sword out of its sabbath. Look at all those cool nerd words I know. And pull up in this position. You can lean the stick forward and getting a nice big stretch in the front of our shoulder here. So it all starts grabbing the pole somewhere in the middle, putting it behind your back, using your other arm to pull your arm across, then go up, and then giving it a nice stretch up. And I usually try to walk it up a little bit. Big stretch in the front of the shoulder. And just holding here, pulling up actively, not trying to hinge my spine, trying to keep my pelvis tucked. Cool. Letting go of that, that comes out. Complete. Opposite side, same thing. Put the broom or the stick behind your back. First thing you want to do is pull it out to the side so your elbow makes contact with your body. Then go up, and it's like we're a knight of the Camelot, and we're going to pull our sword out. Or if anyone's been playing The Witcher, pretty cool series. I don't think having a sword on your back's actually the best position for it. Having it by your side seems like a more easy to grab position. Not that it matters. Cool, nice big stretch here, letting it out slowly. Cool. So the equipment that we're gonna need is our step and the wall. Cool, so for our step downs, it's going to be very similar to the single leg squats that we work with, but we're only going to be doing partial range, and the focus here is more on our knees. So when I come up into this single leg position, finding a nice balance point, the progressions will be your toe touching the ground as controlled as possible, dipping your toe in the pond, and then standing up to complete extension of the leg. The next one is touching your heel to the floor and doing it as controlled as possible. So going down, touching your heel, standing back up nice and tall. The next progression for that, if that's fairly easy, is touch your heel on the floor out in front of you. Unlike a single leg squat, I don't want to go all the way down into this position. What I want to do is stay in a partial range of motion. So maybe just a foot length out in front and then back up. I'll show you what this looks like from the side.
In regards to the previous one,
oh, yeah.
Sean asked, can we use a rubber band?
You can use a rubber band or a belt is the two other alternatives for that. So yeah, for sure.
Cool. Is that doing the same way? Would you be able to show it quickly?
So same thing if you're using a band, hold the band, pull the band out to the side so the elbow makes contact with your body, then loop it around your wrist and pull up. Same thing. Perfect. Cool. Showing the step downs now. So if I'm doing the heel up in front of my body, down, controlling it, heel touches controlled, and then I stand back up. So we're going to be working in this partial range of motion. Much nicer for our knees, make them quite strong and durable. We have 10 reps either side for this one. So you might be on your toe going down, controlling, standing back up, controlled. Toe touches, stand back up. Heel touches, touch the heel lightly. We're not falling on the heel, that's the difference here. Everything is done with control and intention. So if your heel's just touching, going back up, and if that's too easy or if it's quite easily achieved, just putting that heel slightly out in front of the body and doing 10 reps either side. Cool. Hopefully you finished that, or if you haven't, it's okay, we'll come back to it. I'm gonna show you the second position now. Oh, I think I've got them mixed up. We're actually doing A2 material, so if you're looking at the board, it looks like A2 instead of A1. I got them confused. That's okay, we'll go back to A1 afterwards. QDR wall press. So I'm gonna go over to the wall. It's important here that my fingers face to the side when I do this press, not up, not down, certainly not that way. So we're gonna go to the wall, put my hand at the wall like this. I'm gonna lean on one foot, lean into the wall, and then press up, full extension through my shoulder. Gonna lean into the wall, press up, full extension of my shoulder. Now, ideally, it'd be good if we can get our elbow down to our hip. To get that position, all we have to do is move our hand lower. So at the start, making it nice and easy, I'm just bending into the wall, pressing out and straightening up. It feels comfortable. Go a little bit lower, press all the way up. There's a certain amount of pressure on your wrist here, but that's what we're looking for. That's extremely helpful for the wrist to load it in this position in such a way that we can do lots of reps. This builds into a lot of body weight exercises. Very important you get that full extension out of the shoulder at the end of it. Boom, full extension, so that we're not just half repping down at this part here. 10 reps, either side. You'll see it from my back. I'm gonna do it at a harder variation this time. Elbow to my hip bone, press all the way in and out. Press all the way in and out. Press all the way in and out. Good. Press. Good. So doing that 10 times, either side. We'll come back to that again. Cool. So the QDR stands for querarins, which is a capoeira move. We're going to use that with the floor. So after we've done our QDR presses, we're now going to use the floor and aim to touch our hips to our elbows. Variations of this are kind of like a crow pose, a peacock pose in yoga terms. In body weight training or calisthenics, it might be like an elbow lever or something like that. I'm gonna have my hands turned out to the side and I'm on my knees in this position. And I'm simply gonna try and extend my hips and touch my hip to my elbow. Touch my hip to my elbow. I can leave my knees on the ground while I do it, make it a little bit easier. To make it a little bit harder, take one leg off the ground, touch, press back up. We're going to do about 5 each side. So touch, press, back up. Touch, press, back up. If we're doing the harder variation, one leg, press, touch, back up. Press, touch back up. It's very important that you start to familiarize your elbow going into that hip position there, where you've got a lot of skin. There's not that much bone, but it's a very thick part of your leg. It's very strong. Sits just above your undie crease mark. Sorry, just below your undie crease mark. Kind of where that coin pocket is in your jeans. So 5 each side. Good, and then we're gonna go back to the start. So step downs again. Cool, back to your step downs. You have 10 each side. For the QDR press, you have 10 each side. And then for the hip touches at the floor, you have 5 each side as well. Cool. So if we go to the step downs, I'm gonna use my heel out in front of the body. Touch. Cool. Touch, Hey, Andre is tuned in. What's up, brother? Cool. You saw the stream with Isaac last night? Built a little b-boy studio in my garage because my mum went down to Mandurah for the weekend. Introduced the neighbors to a whole bunch of hip hop. And a lot of funk too, not just hip hop. There's a lot of good stuff. Opposite leg, doing our step downs now. Cool. Heel, going down nice and controlled, touching it. I'm sorry, I'm talking while I'm doing this. I'm making it look very easy, but I want your intention to be that touch on the floor, very light. Use the analogy or the description as dipping your toe in the pond. And if that's not accurate enough, dipping your private bits in an ice pool. Think about dipping it like that. Very, very gently.
That's a very good description.
Yeah, right? And I was thinking about how do I word this appropriately? It's like, you know, you hit the water for men, you know, when your blueberries turn to raisins, that kind of touch of the water.
Was
Cool.
it pretty cold this morning? Oh, it is pretty cold this morning.
It is, I mean, but if you're like working out like Gary and I are, I mean, Gary's, you know, doing all these exercises behind the camera, you know, we're not that cold,
See,
you know.
Witness, you heard the witness. See,
Yeah.
I'm doing all of this behind.
He's doing it, he's smashing out these reps behind as well. Back to the wall press, important. Your hand is sideways, not rotated up, not rotated down, okay? And trying to get that full extension out from my arm. Elbow goes into the body. Don't want my elbow to go behind the body or in front. I want it to make contact with whatever part of my body is along here. Doing 10 each side. Good. Press. Press. We might go over a little bit today just because, you know, I can't gauge how well you guys are getting the material that I'm putting out there, but, you know.
Well, that's on them, guys. They
That's
got
on
to
them.
ask the questions if
Yeah,
they're
that's
finding
it.
it a bit difficult.
Hopefully it's all making sense. Good. It's going to be real uncomfortable to begin with in this position, but, you know, it's a very good stretch for our wrist at the same time. That's why I really like it. A little bit of a strength move while also building up that wrist durability, something I speak of quite highly.
Yeah, I remember when I first started doing some sort of, wrist stretching and fingers and all that, I could hardly bend them at all.
Yeah.
Like literally nothing.
It's crazy. And see, I come from like a completely contrasting background of like a computer desk job and being like a total video game nerd. So I developed severe RSI in my like wrists. So doing all this stuff now is actually like trying to repair all the damage that I did playing. I think I looked at it like 3.2 thousand hours of Dota, and that was only in Dota 2. So there's a lot of unclocked hours in the other one. In D1.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. There's a guy who showed me he's for 5,000. I was like, whoa, man. There's some time into it.
Especially to a non-gamer, I guess that's it.
Oh, man.
Extreme.
5,000 is learning Chinese. You've completely learned Chinese in 5,000 hours, you know? You know, either Cantonese or, you know, simplified. All right, back to our hip touches. Good. 5 each side for this. Try and control it as much as you can. Press. Like a mini push-up out of it. So you press using your arms as much as possible. Hip goes down. Touch. My other leg's quite free here. If I don't rotate my hips, so if I just keep my hips level, it's a bit easier. I make it a little bit harder by sweeping that leg over, spending a little bit more time in that hold. Leg over, press, come back up. Press, come back up. Very important that you press out of this as well. Use your arm muscles as much as you can, even if you're just doing the very light feet together on your knees. Touches as well. Cool, back to step downs. Hopefully you're all knocking out your wrists. If you have any questions, please ask them. Gary and I are monitoring the feed so that we can see how your questions are. Back to our heel touches. We want to get about 5 rounds of these exercises done. I'm watching the clock, just sort of slightly as I go. Try and keep focus of where we're at. But hopefully all these exercises, even though probably a few of them are quite new, are still fairly accessible. Hey, look, vegan Prana protein bars, and I got a Prana shirt on. Where's my marketing sponsorship? Yeah. I used to have one with Prana.
Jacinta says good morning. Good to see you.
Jacinta, yo! Oh my God, she's doing a little crying face. Because Jacinta and I were old school ravers back in the day. And by old school, I mean baby-faced youngsters. And then we ran into each other at a ecstatic dance at this wild, oh gosh, it was like a villa mansion in Ubud. Just happened to like run into each other on the dance floor. Yo! I think we recognized each other as well because I was dancing like a raver at an ecstatic dance. And so, yeah, she's like, oh, I recognize those moves. Hey, do I know that guy? Yeah, everybody knows that guy.
Might have to see some after.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But that's premium content. You gotta
sign up now.
Yeah, you gotta Venmo or Fiverr me for that, you know.
All right, we'll set it up.
Yeah. Cool. 10 each side for our QDR press. Locking out at the shoulder, full extension of the arm, pressing in, aiming to get my elbow to touch my body anywhere here. Make that contact and then press out. Same with the reverse again. Leaning on one foot so that I put my weight into the exercise, pressing out, pressing back in. Doesn't matter what level you're at when you're doing this, so if you're making it a bit easier by going higher and doing a smaller press. You can go in the frame. You don't have to like.
I did slightly. I did poke my head in.
People at home don't know what Gary looks like. They're like, who is this mysterious Gary? Is he a SpongeBob Squidward Gary, or is he more of a, what is it, Mike Myers from Gary? That one.
Maybe more of a snail Gary.
Maybe the snail Gary, like that. Meow. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a bit of a kook. You know, we'll get introduced to it now through virtual reality space time. Hip touches. Back again. With the ill behavior. Back once again. Press. Hip touches. Cool. For those people that are a little bit stronger, swing that back leg over. Little bit of a hold. Big press back up to your top position. Cool. Single leg. Get your elbow, make contact. Swing that leg over. Big press back up to the top. Really make sure your intention is building that strength in the arms, making contact in the hands. They're meant to be doing a lot of work here. Not trying to just rush through the reps. You can take them a little bit slower. I don't mind. We've just got Tabata coming up with horse stance and protraction planks. So I'm not sure if everyone wants to rush to that. We can take our time getting to that stuff. Cool. People can type what round they're up to. Just quickly, just put a 4 or a 3 or a 5. Let me know so that I know that we can move on to the next part. Not really sure where we're at the moment. Oh, look. Oh, not. There you go. Either way, I'm going to move it on now because we're going to kind of getting through it. Cool. So I kind of described that we're going to do a little bit of capoeira movement today. So in some of the deload classes, we've worked with cartwheels. Today we're going to work with 2 very easy, oh cool, cat's onto 5, perfect, so we're moving along. We're going to work with 2 very easy capoeira moves, but they, you know, there's always an overlap in body weight training. So the first one we're going to do is called a rolle. Cool, so I'm going to start in a stance, put my leg out to the side. And guys, what I'd prefer is you just watch for the time being and then you try this afterwards. I'm going to lean my inside hand out behind my body, step, show my bum, and come all the way back up to the top. And this leg's out and extended behind. So we're going to lean our inside hand into the floor. It goes behind our foot, not in line like a cartwheel, slightly behind. So here, there's about a foot gap behind there. Pivot on this toe here. Ooh, look to the camera. Press and come back up. You don't have to do it that slowly. For you, it might be a little bit quicker. Cool, like that. We're going to do.
Look like some form of breakdancing move.
Oh man, there's a total overlap. We can go into breakdance here too. So, but that's not what we're doing. But it leads up to it. You can always see the progressions. So we're going to do 5 rolle on each side. Oh yeah, Andre, if you're watching, I found out that this is the move. I didn't actually talk to Maku, but I remembered that this is the move here. Hand goes behind the body, feet wide apart here, extend over to the other side. Try and do 5 each side. I'll give you a minute to do that. Leg out to the side here, hand behind, come to the middle, and off to the other side. Cool. Hand here, come to the middle, and over to the other side. If you're noticing, I'm putting my hand up in my face. I'll explain what that's for in a minute. Let's finish this one. 1, 2, up to the other side. Cool. Hand behind. Both hands on the floor, hips nice and wide, spreading our weight, and then we're going to shift over to the other side. Cool. Good stuff. 15 seconds left. Cool. So as you're finishing that, the next one we're going to learn is the Jenga de Jinga, which essentially is Portuguese for the swing back and forth. And this is a very good one for our legs. So to start this position, all I'm going to do is take a step back with one leg. The opposite hand comes up. We're going to step forward, switch our hands, opposite leg goes back. Step forward, leg goes back. Step forward, leg goes back. Reason I put my hand up here is in capoeira, it's meant to be a defensive block, but it's also artistic flair. It also helps with the rotation of your body. So from the start, going to 1 foot back, up to the start. 1 foot back, up to the start. Now, to make this exercise quite functional or to give us value from it, you're going to go low. You're going to duck down. Here we go.
You know what that reminds me of? Eddie on Tekken.
Eddie, yeah, from Tekken. That's it, man. That was it. He was a capoeira artist. Good. Down and up, watching from the side. So take a step back to the front, out to the side, back low. We always keep ourselves nice and low. Feel our legs working in this position here. Jenga to Jenga, swing back and forth. Yeah, we're gonna do about 5 each side, and I want you to keep getting lower and lower. This is the important part. Using our legs. Building very strong legs, but having a bit of fun with it. And you can take this to the kids and say, hey, look, I learned some killer dance moves today. But it also just gets us moving instead of just static positions. Cool, we're gonna go back to the roll lay. So you're gonna do about 5 to 6 either side. Cool, you can speed it up a little bit now. Maybe you do a little hop in between there, get a little bit floatless in between as well. Always make sure that you're facing your enemy in capoeira. Well, not your enemy, more like your opponent. So, hand out behind, turn on the spot, over to the other side. You see that, how that hand is coming back up. And it's shielding my face. If someone were to swing, kick, I have it up there. But it also helps with the pivoting of the body. So, good. Also moving into movement territory here by doing that little hop. Getting a little bit floatless. If you've got that strength there, you're more than welcome to put that in. Cool. All right, we'll go back to the Jenga to Jenga. Nice strong legs here. So taking a step back, hand up to our face, switching our hands across, big step back, nice and low. Okay. There's a history behind why capoeira was done like this. They were the slaves that created this were housed in very low ceiling places. So when they trained, they had to go very low to the ground, but also it's a bit of a safety mechanism, and also because it's a bit artistic with how high they throw their kicks. So I'm up nice and tall, down, sweep under, back again. And if you've done any boxing, it's kind of like doing the peekaboo, where you're going underneath that position there. Whoosh. Cool. Back to our roll lay. I'm going to do it for the sides again. Hand out behind the body, hand on the floor. Over and up, down, hand, hand, foot, foot, hand, foot, back up again. Hand, hand, foot, foot, hand, back up again. Oh. You can speed it up a little bit now. I know I'm probably making this look much easier than it is. I apologize. Same thing that happens with Macy when she demonstrates a technique. It's like, oh, man, that looks so easy. Should be able to get it like that. No, it's very difficult. Cool. Back to the Jenga to Jenga. One foot goes back, opposite arm swings up. Good, protect our face. Come back, back and low. We're gonna go low between these. Up high, down low. This middle bit here, look how low I can get. Down, back, whoops. Whoop, there we go. Got my legs confused. Good. There we go. Cool. Last one, last round for the roll and the jinga to jinga. Another way that you can do the roll, start from the squat, heel on the floor, hands still behind, down to the other side. How did we do that? Same thing. All I did, instead of pivoting on my toes, I pivoted on my heel. Here. Come to my toes again. My legs are a little bit more narrow. Go to the other side. Just a slight variation on the roller. Pivoting on my heel. Toe to toe, hand, hand, hand. Across here. Maybe you're a little bit higher. That's okay. You can't reach that squat position. Feet on the floor. Other side. Good. Toe, toe. Pivot. Other side. Cool. All right, I'm gonna move into our last round. And I'm gonna need a timer on the board. So we're gonna do 1 minute timers, and we're gonna do horse stance and ma bo. There's Chinese name for it. For the people that are interested, it might be written on the board as ma bo. And protraction plank. So horse stance, going wide with our feet. You can have them slightly externally rotated. That's fine. The key for this is to go as low as I possibly can and hold this position. Okay, your position might look a little bit more forward. Your legs might get a little bit shaky. That's the entire intention of this exercise. We're going to pair that with a protraction plank on our bent arm on the ground like this, either on my knees. I don't mind as long as you have big protraction through your shoulders. You tuck your tailbone so there's not that crease. See how there's a crease in my back? Tuck your tailbone forward. Don't slump through your shoulders. Press, protraction. Otherwise, onto your toes, protraction through the shoulders. And we're going to do this for 45 seconds. We do the horse stance for 45 seconds, 15-second rest while we get into the second position. And then we're straight into the protraction plank, 45 seconds, 15 seconds rest. So we'll wait for the timer to come up on the board. Cool. And we're going to do 3 rounds of this. Oh gosh, I wasn't ready for this. Whew. Take my hat off. Wipe my face. All right, can we restart that timer so we can all start together? All right, 3, 2, 1, going down. Good. And holding this position. Good. Becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable. Cool. And drive your knees out to the sides in this position. Try to breathe. Good. There's a lot of leg strength that we've been working on today, which is good. 15 seconds left in this position. Good. Keep holding, keep sinking low. Good. Pressing your knees, making sure they're strong. If someone were to try to push you over, it wouldn't happen. 15. All right, stand up. Move towards the ground. Good. Taking a few large, deep breaths, getting ready for our second round of our protraction plank. Elbows on the floor, you can clasp your hands in any way. Second minute, and we're off. Hopefully the timer's there. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Holding this position. Breathing. Going to help your abdomen. So obviously there's a lot of positions which our abdomen is in contraction, or our trunk, our abdominal walls. We still want to be forcing air through our diaphragm. We don't want to be holding our breath. Want to be learning to be able to control this. 10 seconds left in this position. Good, pressing, keep that protraction up. 3, 2, 1, coming out. Cool. Standing back up, getting ready for our second round of horse stance. Marbo. Cool. Pulling my pants up. Cool. So if you've ever watched any old school Jackie Chan movies, he actually does this position, the final progression for horse stance, where he's sitting on a chair and his opponent pulls the chair out from underneath him and he remains in the seated position and then they start balancing teacups all over his body, and it's crazy. And it's like, it's a true Shaolin form of strength, having that much strength in your legs to hold that position. We're obviously a little bit wide, but he was sitting quite narrow. It was very impressive. But Jackie Chan is a beast for a reason. Whew. Standing up, getting ready for our protraction plank. I'm gonna do it sideways this time. Maybe this way so I can see the timer. Cool. Elbows down on the floor. 3, 2, 1. Good, protraction. Through the shoulder blades, tucking the pelvis, driving into the floor. Holding this position, leaning forward. If you're on your knees, same thing again. Keep pressing through the shoulder blades. You've done lots of scapular push-ups, I've noticed in all the classes. So you should all have a very robust protraction position. I've seen all of you working on it. No excuses. Lock this position out. We do it in the tucked slide planche position. We do this in the wall walk, in the dish. You should be fairly familiar with it. I want you really pressing through your shoulders, locking them out. 2, 1, rest. Cool. Last round. Definitely building up a sweat. I didn't realize I was going to have to do the whole workout.
You do?
Yeah. I'm not Oscar though. I'll keep my shirt on. Cool. And then just breathing through this position. Obviously, you might not be able to get as low as me. That's fine. Go to where as low as possible. I can't see you, but if you have to come out of it, come back out of it and then go straight back down. Come on, hang on. It's not that tough. It's not the worst part of your life. Sure, you're going to be getting another tattoo, so I know you can deal with this uncomfortableness. Good. Keep squeezing the legs. Maybe the legs are shaking now. Keep telling them to fight. Keep holding the position. Keep squeezing. 3 more seconds. 2, 1. Stand up. And the Oscar goes to yellow. Hey, Oscar. Sorry. All right, last minute. Protraction plank. Here we go. Timer is on. Protraction, pressing through the shoulders, tucking the tailbone, squeezing our abdomen, but also breathing deeply. Don't want anyone taking short breaths in this. I want you forcing air into your diaphragm as best as possible.
15, 14. Gary, could you count it? Because I can't actually look at the clock, man.
Yeah, 10 seconds.
10 seconds, he says.
5 seconds.
4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. Awesome. Cool. Just going to finish today with a little bit of a knee stretch. So all we're going to do here, hopefully, is I'm going to sit on my knees like this, put my hands here if I need, and just lean back. Get a nice stretch in the front of my legs. If you're comfortable sitting on your heels, go all the way back. Nice combination of flexion and extension in the legs. If this feels comfortable, then you can put your hands by the sides. Just give a little lift at the base or lean back, sit back. Nice big rock. Stretch of your legs. Good. You're going to stay in that position and then just stretch our wrists a little bit as well. Walking them. Entertainment value through the roof. Even if you're not working out, you just watch this and be like, guys, hilarious. There we go. Giving our wrists another little stretch. Cool, so bit of a fun introduction to a lot of new classes, especially with the strength class that Coach Kelvin programmed yesterday. Hopefully none of you guys are like suffering DOMS too bad from the strength work, and you're still recovering pretty well. Cool, last one we'll do, just holding our elbows and just bouncing, getting a bit of a stretch through our lower back. Sort of similar to the Jefferson curl, but just pulsing at this bottom position. Nice straight legs, don't bend your legs to get lower. Keep your legs straight. That's going to tighten all these muscles at the back so that when we use our body weight gravity, we're going to pull on these muscles. Give them a big stretch. We're going to do about 30 pulses here. Breathing out. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Hope you had a good class. Yeah, like I said, feedback would be great. I think, yeah, just getting the timing for the workouts, and I think I accidentally missed a bit of the material, so hopefully you weren't all confused by that, but hope you have a wonderful day. If you enjoyed the exercises, you're more than welcome to continue doing them, and you should. Mandy, eat enough so you can train twice a day. Got to do your handstand work today. And anyone else who's working on handstands, Sarah, if you still want it, work on your handstand a little bit today and look after your wrists, look after your body. Certainly, one thing with this quarantine time I found with myself, I was sitting down quite a bit. So the thing straddle stretches like this. Very good, straightening the legs. Inchworms, you guys know those ones. Another one, going down to our squat position, setting a timer, maybe trying to get, accumulate 3 minutes for like maybe 3 rounds during the day. And that's just going to offset, the sitting down that we're doing. Should never demonize sitting down. Nothing to stigmatize, We're creatures of leisure. We find ways to do things easily, and that's in our creativity and ingenuity. So that's our behavior to do that. So never feel bad about sitting down, but just realize that, you have to contrast it with like moving around a bit. Ole! All right, take care, peace.
Thanks, guys.